Good morning, everyone. I have a question for you. What do you do when things don't work out quite right and you're still waiting? Is it frustrating? Do you rail at the computer or at the car in front of you? What do you do? How do you respond? We're going to talk about that today. But I'm Carol Henderson. I have Life by Design, and I'm here with my wonderful co-host, Miss Barbara Ellison. Take it away, Barbara.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Mavens of Motivation. You know what? That's such a great question, because I'm going to tell on myself. This morning, so often we compare our circumstances to somebody else's circumstances, and it's kind of like we're so excited for them, and we've prayed for them, and we are just loving the fact that they're getting their huge breakthrough, or they've gotten sponsors, or they've won tournaments, whatever that thing is. And we're still in the season of waiting. It's a season of waiting. And sometimes it's that we ourselves need to go through something, that we have to build something within us. The other thing that I have really come to realize, though, is sometimes it's not about us at all. Sometimes it's about the other person growing, or the other thing growing to where it is what's going to be the best thing for us, or to work through us. All of the things that are not going our way, they're not happening to us.
Okay, I have a prime example.
Yeah.
A young woman waiting for a husband. We don't know anybody in the room
An older woman waiting for a husband.
So, anyway, so often, especially younger women, they are divorced or widowed, whatever. I've known widows in their 20s,
right?
But they greatly desire to be married. And so they're praying for a husband, and they've had, words from God of, I have a husband for you. You're going to do this, you're going to have kids, whatever the word is, or the hope, or what people have spoken. And they're going, Lord, where is my husband? You promised me a husband. Where is he? Well, it's not always about you. Sometimes God's working on him, because if he brought him into your life now, it would not be a good match.
It wouldn't be a match.
My husband and I he actually rode motorcycles with a friend of mine and her husband. I moved them into the apartment that he used to go visit them at. We never met. And we were close friends. We were both close friends with them separately. We never met. And we met later on in church, and it wasn't so much that he was working on both of us, although he was, don't get me wrong. But it's just that it wasn't time. The timing was not right. And so, it's kind of funny to know that he was there and I was there, but as much as we were both there, never met.
Right.
Because that's not like the mall or something. We both worked at different ends of the mall. This is a small little apartment, for newlyweds.
Right.
So sometimes,
exactly.
Sometimes
and so
not ready, and sometimes you're not ready.
Right. And so what I think one of the biggest things, though, is to trust the process.
Mm-hmm.
And whether you believe in God or source or whatever you want to call that inner knowing, that outer being, that that there is something out there that's bigger than us, we have to trust that timing. And yet once in a while. I mean, I have to admit, this morning I woke up, heard some news about a friend of mine, and it was like your first thought. Okay. Your first thought many times is, well, why not me? Okay. That's a normal thought. You're not doubting, you're not criticizing, but it's just a thought. And we have no control over the thoughts that come into our heads, because they're from the time of conception to now. What we do with the thought is in our control. And so this morning it was like, okay, Barbara, that was the thought. Well, why not me? Now I could have gone down the rabbit hole of the pity party. Well, why not me in this? And God, as Carol says, spiraled down into this deep, dark depression. Or I had the choice to say, you know what? Need this today. I don't want this. So what did I do? I turned on YouTube and put on just an inspirational what to do while you're waiting. And the whole gist of it was, take courage, but it takes courage to trust.
Mm-hmm. It does. It does.
It does. So this morning, it was like, in my prayer time, it was like, okay, Lord, I need courage. Please help me today to have courage in the waiting.
Yes.
Because of all the things that Carol and I have got going on, other things that are going on in my life, they are all, it's like, I can see the seeds. I can see they're starting to grow, but they haven't flourished yet.
We don't have flowers yet.
We don't have flowers yet.
We have buds on the
buds.
but
We have buds.
Yeah.
But they're not in full bloom yet.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean we don't water them.
Yeah, you do have to water all your hopes and dreams. You need to water them in prayer. But one thing you can do, you've heard me say before, your spirit, soul, and body. Your three things. Well, in your soul is your mind, your will, and emotions. And in the scripture, it talks about David spoke to his soul. You know, he said he encouraged himself in the Lord. He said, "Rise up, O soul, and praise the Lord." And there were several times that he encouraged himself. And just like your body, if you don't eat, your body's going to shrivel up and eventually die, because your bone, flesh, and blood, and you have to nourish that bone, flesh, and blood. And that's one of the things that we're about, is to nourish that bone, flesh, and blood in the best way with the best ingredients. But on your soul, when you get discouraged, or like today, I couldn't get my computer to it booted up, but it wouldn't open. And I mean, I spent 30 minutes down here an hour ago trying to get it boot up to get ready for the day. And it's like, no, I'm going to sleep. I am not coming to work today. And so got on to do our show. And so I'm trying again. Finally, we were on a messenger chat, and I finally put it where she could see it. She's going, oh my goodness. And it finally woke up, but I could have railed and cussed and fussed on the computer. But instead, we just kept trying and be patient and visited while we were waiting on it. And it finally booted up, or opened up. But, you know, it's your attitude. And just like Barbara took it to prayer, you need to take it to prayer. And, you know, that's the only constant in our lives, is our spirit. Our spirit is sealed to the day of his coming. And so that is constant. But your soul, you have to take it. It wants to rule you. Your emotions want to rule you.
Your emotions.
Drama queens. Think of the Bridezilla shows out there, or the wives of so and so. You know, all of those things. I mean, those people on those shows are letting their emotions, they're letting their soul take dominance over their spirit, and it's wrecking their lives in so many instances. And not even wrecking their lives, but making, I mean, think about it. How many people don't even want to go to a wedding because the woman is a bridezilla or the mom of the woman. You know,
Or
there's,
yes.
yeah. So, you know, you can control your emotions. And, you know, of course, my dad used to, in the middle of a spanking, we stop crying, stop crying. I'm like, I can't.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I mean, sometimes we just, you
I
have
mean,
to
it
let your
hurt.
emotions out. It hurt. And sometimes, hey, I have to admit, I have been the consummate emotion stuffer my entire life, where it was like, and I would just stuff it down, stuff it down, stuff it down. I'm not going to feel that way, and stuff it down, stuff it down. Wrong approach, because those emotions have come back to bite me, you know, in the most inopportune times, where the saying that the straw that broke the camel's back, and usually the straw was so minute, came from a totally different person, but they were the one that got the of your wrath.
They're doing like this after you threw up on them.
And they're like, where did that come from? Okay, wrong. That is unhealthy. And now that I have realized it now, okay, it's okay to feel emotion. Feel the emotion.
But not
Let
let it rule your life.
Let it out. Like a couple of weeks ago, Carol and I said, I have got to deal with this emotion, otherwise I am going to explode. And she's like, okay, let's talk about this tomorrow.
Click.
Click. Exactly. I had absolutely, and it was really, looking back, it was funny. But at that moment, I was beside myself. I was just feeling so, and now it's because it's gone. I don't even remember why I got so upset, but you know what? Things happen, and they do trigger us. And I think really lots of times the emotions that come up are because we triggered something that happened 30 years ago.
Oh, exactly. There's still
40 years ago, 50 years ago.
yeah,
That scar is still there.
You poke that bruise. One thing that I want to say is, when you have a situation, you do like Barbara did. This was in the evening and we were getting ready for bed, and you deal with it before you go to sleep.
Go to bed.
We had a situation, my husband, when we lived in Dallas years ago, ran paint and body shops. Now, the company itself lended towards people that were not the most honest as far as the money, and he ran 12 paint and body shops in 6 states. So he'd have to fly in somewhere and fire everybody. But then he's taking in cars, dealing with customers, masking off cars, painting those cars, and they wanted him to not let his car cost to drop. He still had a certain number of cars to get through the shop every day while he's hiring a new crew.
Right.
Okay, you know, that they were all kind of in cahoots and been running cars through and pocketing money or whatever they were doing.
Right. There's always ways to, in any business, there's always ways to skip.
Yes.
But
And
you do eventually get caught.
What happened when we came back to town, he realized he had an anger issue because he had never been an angry person, but he had been stuffing that work anger of people doing that for the 3 years we were there. And God showed me it's the little foxes that spoil the vines. It's not always the big blow up, somebody, you know, breaks into your house and steals everything and it's a big deal. It's the little things. And so if you don't deal with them, and you deal with them before you go to sleep, because what happens in your day processes into your spirit at night. Your soul will process it. Just like your body processes food, your soul processes the events. So in the morning, you get up and you be thankful and you be grateful. And at night, when you go to bed, you be thankful, you be grateful, and you forgive. If there's anything that you missed during the day, forgiving. And this is especially between spouses. How many people have gotten a divorce and they're like, we really don't know why. We don't know what
Right.
started it.
What started it?
Friends, we just can't be married.
Yeah.
Well, there was something you saw in that person to marry them in the first place. You know,
Yeah.
you were either blinded, thinking, oh, it's all going to work out. I can fix him. You can't.
Yeah, can't.
Only God can fix him. But it's those little things and those little forgivenesses. It doesn't have to be a big
No.
offense. I mean, Barbara could click off before I'm ready to quit talking to her. And I could take that as an offense and put it in my heart and carry it all day and let that build up. And then another thing builds up and another thing builds up. And then
Right. Right. Exactly.
You have
That's
to do a heart check every morning and every night. Where is my heart?
yeah. No, is there something right at this moment? Because I don't want to be that emotion stuffer anymore. I did that for most of my life. Most of my life. And even now, I mean, and I'll be totally honest, and I truly believe in being vulnerable and being open and honest. And my husband passed away 11 years ago. And yet there are still things that come up that I wish that we had a little unresolved hurt that was never resolved. And now he's been gone for 11 years and I'm still thinking about it. How silly is that?
And
So
you can still take care of those things.
and I'm
He's
still
not gone. He's alive. He's just in another room. He went to another country. It's just not a country on this planet. But you've got to realize the spirit is eternal. It never goes away, but it will end up one place or another. Most definitely, whether you believe that or not, it's true. And so, if nothing else, especially during this time of questioning and wondering, what if Carol and Barbara are right? Maybe I need to hedge my bets and make sure I'm going here. Because if we say that what we do, you can go here and it doesn't happen.
You're
worse off.
You're no worse off.
For like I say, an atheist that doesn't believe in a God, if you just think it's nothing afterwards, well, what if we're right and you're wrong?
Yeah.
Hedge your bets. They say there's no atheists in a foxhole. Yeah. And that's true because they're right face to face with that decision.
With that eternal. Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes it's like, I love Danny Gokey's song is, no matter what scars you have, no matter what you've been through, his song is about, tell your heart to beat again. And that is and that can be your soul. You might be thinking right at this moment, I have just done too much to ever be forgiven, to ever admit what I've done. No, it's never. That's never. You can always ask for forgiveness, whether it's from a parent, whether it's from God, whether it's from whatever it is. You can still always ask for forgiveness,
and you have to forgive
yourself, or give forgiveness.
Yes, you have to forgive yourself. If you were, say, in a marriage, if you were the cause of the marriage, you ran around on your husband or whatever. I mean, that is not the unforgivable sin.
Right.
You ask forgiveness from God. You can ask forgiveness from your husband, not necessarily present, but if you have enough of a relationship, call him up, ask for forgiveness. But then you have to forgive yourself. Forgiveness is not a feeling. It's an act of, it's an act.
It's a decision.
It's a decision. It's an act of your will. I will to forgive myself for causing that hurt to others, causing the hurt to myself. Whatever it is, there's not something that cannot be forgiven. It says that Jesus is long suffering and he will forgive. And I mean, that's his heart's desire, is for us to forgive. And so if you have a burden, if you have a heaviness in your heart, ask him, say, am I carrying some unforgiveness? If you need help, call us up. put a chat
Yeah.
in the box.
Absolutely.
Because that's one thing that we both do. Yes, we are nutritionists. Yes, we deal in people's health, but your soul health is just as important. And many times, forgiveness is the key to physical health.
Yes.
Very, very often. So
Because stuffed emotions will bury themselves somewhere in your body.
yep, it will come out that way.
It will
So
come out that way.
many things. Or say you're abused as a child.
Yeah.
Abused as a child, and you can't get over it. And just, and I'm not saying that you have to say, oh Lord, forgive me for causing that. You didn't cause that, but forgive me for holding the unforgiveness.
Right.
Joyce Meyer is probably a prime example. She was
Yeah.
abused years on end. And
Yeah.
then she went into abusive relationships years on end. And then God got a hold of her and gave her an amazing husband that helped walk her through a lot of this. But she has some great teachings about forgiveness and the power of the mind.
Right.
What your mind can do as far as holding these grudges and I mean, think of the Hatfield and McCoys. Nobody even knows what started that.
We don't even know what started that, and it's still going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Still
Going on, murdering each other over Lord only knows what. So
yeah, exactly.
anyway.
Exactly.
So
So
that's my rant for today.
that's it. Yeah, and it started with me waking up feeling like, why not me?
And me not being able to get onto my computer.
And you not being able to get
It's a good subject for today.
This was a good subject for today because you know what? Everybody is human.
Mhm.
The thing is, I think the biggest lesson that really I would really encourage you to get to hear our hearts is that you have a choice. It is your choice every day, every minute, every second sometimes, because that thing that is bugging you, it can come back thought after 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 thought. Okay, so every
time.
And you have to forgive every
Finally
time.
it gets to where it is just like a newspaper article about somebody that you might have known one day.
About somebody else.
Truly, the hurt goes away.
Yeah. Or it scabs over. And okay, this is my little I'm going to look you straight in the eye here. Don't pick at the scab. Let the hurt heal over. Let the scab alone. It'll fall off by itself. Do not pick the scab. And I'm telling you, I used to pick my scab. And this morning I tried to pick the scab. And it was like, yeah, no, Barbara, no, you are not going to pick the scab of this hurt. It's gone. It's over. It's in the past. All right. You even remember why you were hurt? No. If you have done something wrong, absolutely. One of my favorite sayings for people is, was it your fault? If you really did do something, was it you that did it? Yes, it was me. Okay. Fess up. Take the heat, but then go on. We all have times where we have done stupid stuff, things that were less than stellar, things that were hurtful, things that were cruel. We've all done it. Mainly to ourselves, unfortunately. But fess up. Take the heat. Oh yeah, I did do that. Okay, ask for forgiveness, but then go on.
But ask the other person, ask yourself, and ask God.
Ask God. So, exactly.
Anyway, I hope this
is that's our lesson for today. That was for somebody, if not just for us.
Yeah. Well, and we've got some great stuff coming up.
Yeah.
Tonight there is a call about some new things coming out. We're so excited. We have friends that have already gotten to try it. And then Tuesday night we have a party that you're
A
invited.
Zoom party, you're invited to.
Yes. So anyway, let me give that 7:00 Central Time. Come on 15 minutes early to win gifts and prizes. And one of our prizes is worth $350.
Yeah.
Retail. Now this is for Tuesday night, March 7th.
7th.
In case you're watching this
7 Central
on YouTube.
Right.
But yeah, Central Time, Tuesday, March 7th. Come on at 6:45. You will be glad you did.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun party. And
it's a free Zoom. TeamZGlobalZoom.com. So easy. We'll put the address in the show notes.
Yeah,
But
and also 801-222-1234. I
Four.
love it because I can remember it.
I can do that one too.
And we are hosting it.
We're
So
hosting.
come to our party. We would love to see you there. Be sure to put Mavens of Motivation in when we ask you who invited you. Be sure to put us in. So anyway, we will see you this morning. That's, I think, all we need to.
That's a wrap.
Yeah, have a great day.
Have a great day, everybody. Bye.